From Studio A at Thurston Community Television, the Young Producers Network proudly presents
Talk Time!
Talk Time.
Talk Time!
Talk Time!
Talk Time.
Talk Time.
Hello, welcome to Talk Time, produced by the TCTV Young Producers Summer Program. I'm your host, Lilly Davis. You may not realize how much media affects our lives. Today we're focusing on radio. I have a special guest with me today. Please welcome Julie Kellen, a DJ on Chaos Radio.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're going to start off with some questions. First question is, how does radio work?
Wow, that's the answer to that is very complicated, but I'll try to simplify it. Every radio station has equipment that can send a signal into a band of an electromagnetic band, which is how the radio station sends its signal to receivers everywhere. So that's what we have at Chaos, a transmitter. It's up on Tumwater Hill, and it puts its signal out into, we talk about being on the air. It is sort of in the air. It's all around us.
All right, next question is, what's the easiest and hardest part of your job?
Wow. Well, the easiest part of my job as a DJ, I've had different jobs at Chaos, but the easiest part of being a DJ is when you turn on the mic and you're going to share your love of the music that you just played with listeners. And that is a very joyful moment when I think of all the things I have lined up to say to my listeners, and I open my mouth and I go with it. That's a beautiful moment.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now,
and you asked me about the hardest part, and I didn't answer that. The hardest part of being a DJ is doing the preparation. I probably put in at least an hour for every 2-hour radio show, and that's because I've been doing it for 30 years. When I first started out, I would put in at least 2 hours for every radio show, and sometimes you don't feel like doing it. It's sort of like doing homework, but you get down, you do it anyway, and boy, it really pays off when you get on the air.
All right, next question is, what skills do you need to be a radio announcer?
Well, it helps to have good diction and a good speaking voice, and some people naturally do, and other people need to work on that. You know, they kind of mumble, and that really doesn't work on the radio. And it helps to have a certain amount of confidence, and it's very interesting. Some people who don't like public speaking in front of a crowd are perfectly happy in front of a microphone with nobody around. So that kind of confidence is important for the radio, and people gain that over time. Sometimes you go in when you're a newbie and you're really kind of scared and nervous, and a year later it's like, yeah, I can do this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like about the radio sort of like special voice that you need to have, it would be kind of embarrassing if you went onto the radio and you're just like, okay, yeah, the next song that we're going to be playing is, you know, let's see, what song are we going to play? Okay, yeah, that song.
Happens every day on Chaos, but I wish it wouldn't. I wish people would kind of get their act together before they flip on that mic and, you know, have at least a mental map, maybe even a written list of what they want to say on the air, and then just go through it, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why we have note cards. All right, next question is, what's your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part is playing the music, and what we have in radio, we call it a segue, and that just means follows, is when one song ends and another song begins. Sometimes, depending on the song, we cross them over just a little bit. So you hear this song is going out, this song comes in strong over the top of it. When that really is good, oh, it's a thrill. You can tell I'm a radio nerd.
Yeah, all right. And So, like, what's the most popular song that you play?
Boy, it's hard to say because Chaos doesn't really track our songs in terms of popularity. On a commercial radio station, there's a music director who really kind of conceives the playlist. In other words, what the DJs are going to play. They figure it out for the whole station. At Chaos, every single person is their own program director. And so I might play all different things than the person who was on the air the day before me doing the similar format. And we don't limit our playlist. So the playlist on Chaos is huge. It's really all the music in the world. And so our listeners don't have a chance to zero in on one thing saying, oh, I heard that song yesterday and I really like it. You could say that's a weakness of our radio station. I think it's a strength.
All right. Next question is, what inspired you to do radio?
The radio. I loved listening to the radio all my life. When I was a little girl, we only had one radio in the house, and it was in my dad's bedroom. And I used to sneak in there when I was supposed to be sleeping in my bed and he was still downstairs. And I would listen to the radio. And we lived just outside New York City and got all the New York stations. So the stuff that I found on the radio, it was everything in the world. There was Chinese opera music, there was Puerto Rican bomba, there was this weird guy called Long John Nebel who was on late at night. And I'd listen to that stuff and just be amazed. And then I'd fall asleep and my dad would come up and he'd find me in his bed and he'd have to carry me back to mine. But that inspired me to do radio. It would just seem like the most amazing wonderland.
Yeah. So, like, for our next question, it is going to wrap this up, and it is, do you have a secret talent?
A secret talent. A secret one. I should have brought my banjo. I love music. I play a lot of instruments, but just a year and a half ago, I started a new instrument, the banjo, and it is kind of a secret because I don't play it in public very much.
Yeah. All right. That's all for this edition of Talk Time. Thanks to all the young producers for their help in making this program. Have a great day.